In this Road to Glory series, my name is Josh Gray. After moving to Helena, Montana from the suburb of Lockwood, just a few hours away, I'm going to have to prove to the coaches that I deserve the starting job. And as a 6'4" QB with a rocket arm and who can outrun just about anybody on the field, it's only a matter of time before I prove my doubters wrong, which I would have to do starting in my first game against Butte. In practices, I showed that I was clearly the best quarterback on the team, and they gave me the starting job instantly, and I showed them exactly why I deserved it on this first pass here. Now, over the course of the summer, I was actually developing a bit of good chemistry with all of my guys, but me and Gio Saria have gotten a really good connection together as we get a touchdown together on our first drive of the game. Being the new kid in town, I really am trying way too hard to impress my coaches as I keep rolling out of the pocket, trying to make every single play a good one, but I want to impress all of my new teammates and show them that I am worthy of the starting job. But I was getting super tired, so I handed the ball off to Alex Howell on this play, our starting running back who I'm quickly developing a good friendship with. And our first 3 drives were going super well as I rolled out here and threw the ball to Michael Weisbecker, who ran it in for another touchdown. And then on the next drive, I ran it in myself. All of my former coaches at Lockwood never really believed in me, and they always had me at the backup position, even when I outperformed my teammates in practice and in games in relieving duty. So getting a chance here to actually shine and show my talent really helped my morale, and I think is going to help me a lot going forward. Looking at my stats after the game, though, I was shocked to see I had over 400 total yards and 6 total touchdowns, and I had 2 colleges interested in me for the first time in my life. Going into our second game against Laurel, my coach had the confidence in me to guarantee me the starting position for this and the next game. So I wanted to go out there and show him that him giving me the starting job was going to pay off, which actually made me a little extra nervous for this game as I started missing a few throws here and there that I normally wouldn't miss in practice or in a game setting. But as I settled into the game, I started making great throws like this one to Thien right here, and then I'd throw a nice out route to our wide receiver Gio Saria in the end zone for another touchdown. On the next drive, after our defense stopped Laurel, I'd see Thien streaking deep and I'd hit him for yet another touchdown. So I'd have a lot of confidence in him and I'd throw him the slant over the middle, which he would sadly drop and would get picked off for my first interception of the season. I don't blame him though, because he did get crushed, but we'd finish the game off with yet another good stat line, and a college scout was going to come watch me play. But the third game on our schedule would be against my former team that didn't believe in me, Lockwood. Now, I tried to tell all the guys that I wasn't nervous for this game, but they could easily tell after my first couple of plays that this was a very emotional time for me. But Thien told me in the huddle that I got this and that he believed in me. And when I threw the ball deep to him, I knew that he had my back. Gio and the guys were doing everything they could to get me unfazed, and I really appreciated that, so I was trying to deliver the ball to them as well as I could, and Alex got stuffed here. But on the next play, I unfortunately threw another pick on the season, and I got way too heated in the moment and went for a hard hit on him, which we did get, thankfully. And I just had to keep telling myself on this next drive that I had to believe in my new teammates. They believed in me, so it was time to believe in them. And as we hit Gio for this touchdown right here, I knew we were in good hands. Lockwood quickly tied up the game, though, and going into the fourth quarter, I threw it to Gio once again to get inside the 10, and then we hit him for his second touchdown of the game to take the lead. Lockwood's new quarterback tied it up once again, though, so I handed the ball off to Alex, and I kind of tripped and fell, and I played it off a little bit, whispering my O-lineman's ear that he smelled really nice. I wanted to prove my former coaches and team wrong about me, and that them benching me throughout most of my high school career was the wrong decision. As I kept driving downfield here, I slowly started to feel like they were getting the idea that they shouldn't have given up on me so early. And when I threw this game-winning touchdown to Michael Weisbecker here, everything came together, and it was the happiest feeling I've had in forever. And coach gave me the full-time starting job. I checked my scouting report after the game, and I was now a 2-star player for the first time in my life, and we got another offer. I couldn't hang up on that forever, though, as we had a huge game against Missoula, and I wanted to start off with a bang, going deep to Thien, and then the next play I'd hit Ostrander for a touchdown. Thien and I were quickly developing a huge chemistry on the field, and he was quickly becoming one of my best friends in real life, so I wanted to get them the ball as early and often as possible deep, because he truly is an elite deep threat in high school. There was actually scouts in attendance for both of us at this game, and this throw right here really solidified that them being here wasn't a mistake. And with us getting such a huge lead early, I wanted to show off my arm talent as much as possible. The main detractor so far was that I wasn't throwing the ball deep enough. I wanted to show the scouts that I had a cannon. After the win, me and my teammates would celebrate being 4-0, and then I'd see that I was now a 3-star athlete. And going into our week 5 game against Orchard Homes, I wanted to show that I could also run the ball as well as have the big arm talent. But of course, having a 5-star talent on my team like Thien helps a lot. I ran the hurry up and I ran it in myself though on the very next play. And of course on the next drive I was looking deep for Thien and he did not let me down. He is truly one of the best receivers I think I've ever played with. And so I just kept hucking it deep to him because I knew that I could trust him coming down with it every time. But that doesn't mean that I would forget about any of my other teammates, though, as I'd hit Gio over the middle for another touchdown, and then I'd throw it to House over the middle for another touchdown. I'd end up getting a Player of the Week award, and I'd have 7 touchdowns, and this time an offer from BYU to become a Cougar hunter just like Zach Wilson. Now 5-0 on the season, we'd be going into week 6 against 3-2 Lewistown, and I'd throw a touchdown to Michael Ostrander to start off the game. Rolling out of the pocket on this next play, though, I wanted to take it myself. I couldn't quite get it, so on the very next one, I'd run it in myself. This team clearly watched a lot of film on me, though, as they started covering deep really well, so I decided it was time for me to keep rolling out of the pocket and take the game into my own hands. Or legs. With me and Alex running the ball so much, though, it opened up a pocket down the middle of the field, and I launched the ball to Weisbecker for another touchdown. And on the very next play, I'd hit Ostrander, who would break a tackle and get in for a 40-point lead. I wanted to show Big Mike some more love, though, so I threw it to him one more time to give us a 50 bomb. I'd finish the game with a school record 550 yards, and I'd now be a 4-star athlete with tons of colleges offering me scholarships. And although we were undefeated on the season and playing 0-6 Deer Lodge, Coach told us not to slow down. And on my first 2 drives, I was throwing deep early and often to make sure that the scouts in attendance would love what they see in person. And although I didn't light up the scoreboard like I have the past few games, we still did really good and we beat them, and I would now be a 5-star athlete. And something that I never would have believed if somebody told me it before the season, I was now ranked number 95 in the entire country. And our second to last game would be against 1-6 Glasgow, a team that I actually had familiarity playing against because last season at Lockwood, when our QB went down, I got to play a full game against them. I had 300 yards passing, and I still didn't get the starting job there. So it brought up some bad memories, and I just wanted to annihilate them. Nearly every single play I was looking to score, and I honestly started to feel bad because we got up by so many points that Coach pulled me out after this touchdown for the remainder of the game. We would get a dominating win, though, and I overheard Glasgow's coach tell ours that he thinks we were going to win the state championship. When I got home from the game, my mom told me that Alabama scouts were going to be at my next game, the school that my dad played wide receiver for, and that I watched with him on every Saturday up until he got sick. I just know he'd be super proud of me to know that I was the number 70 recruit in the country. Going into our final game, though, of the regular season, I couldn't think about all the college stuff. I had to just play my absolute best to make sure that we went undefeated throughout the entire regular season. And after that big touchdown the first drive right there, tons of scouts were in attendance, so I was just trying to throw it to everybody that I could so everybody could have gotten the radar of as many colleges as possible. And I faked a run right here and threw it to Thien. We'd end up winning the game by a large amount, but even more insane was that I got an official full ride offer from Alabama. But now it was time for the playoffs against 9-0 Polson. Coach told me before the game to just play my heart out and do my best, which kind of made me feel like he didn't believe in us entirely, so I just wanted to go out there and prove him entirely wrong. So every single play I was going for the big bomb as I wanted to put up as many points as possible. And I kept throwing dimes to each of my receivers to try and score as many points as possible. And on 1st and goal, I'd throw it over the middle to Gio. I kind of left him hanging there a bit to get hit by a defensive back, but I apologized to him after the play and he was completely fine. I tried to be a bit too much of a gunslinger though on the next drive and almost throw a pick, but on the drive after that, I threw it deep to Thien, and as you know already, he is an absolute monster and he went in for a huge touchdown. We'd end up winning the game and moving on to the second round of the playoffs. This time against 8-1 Kalispell, who gave Lockwood and us a huge issue last year, but they wouldn't give us one in this game as I'd throw it deep to Thien on the very first play of the game, and on 1st and goal, Alex would punch it in to give us the lead. Another drive later, I would be looking deep and we would hit Michael Weisbecker for our second touchdown of the game, and I tried being a gunslinger again and again, and I almost threw a couple picks. I got a little mad and I started running the ball. This one right here was my best running play of the season, and again later in the game, I'd run it in once again for the huge dominant win over Kalispell. We'd be in the semifinals against Havre now, who was 8-1 and one of the best teams in the entire state. And after a slow start to the game, we'd finally get into the end zone after I ran it in once again for another time in this playoffs. But the Havre D-line was absolutely insane, and they kept blitzing me every single play, which I really hadn't faced much this entire season. And after driving downfield on them a little bit, we'd be on a 3rd down, but I'd missed the pass. So on 4th down, when coach told me to just go for the field goal, I sent it and I threw it down the field myself. Alex didn't get in on this play, so on 3rd and goal, I rolled out of the pocket to my right, and we did not pick up the touchdown, so coach made us kick the field goal, and then he chewed me out a little bit on the sideline. But in the 3rd quarter, I saw one of my guys, Ostrander, streaking deep, and I knew that we had the game in our pocket. That night when I got home from the road trip, I saw that I had a scholarship offer from the Cal Golden Bears, but things would not be great for long, as our final game of the season for the state championship would be against my former team, Lockwood. This was my most emotional game of the season, and Lockwood knew all of my weaknesses, as they would force safety against me in my own end zone, and they would continually blitz me to try and get me out of the pocket and get me out of my comfort zone. And easily my worst half of the season so far, and my worst football I've ever played in my entire life, this game was quickly getting out of hand as I threw 2 interceptions, one of them to end the first half. I was quickly losing hope in myself, but my teammates were not, as they kept giving me words of reassurance the entire halftime, and coach told me that everybody believed in me and to just go out there and play my best football and not think of anything off the field, which reminded me of my dad's very words to me: I may be down, but I'm gonna fight to the last minute. Walking out onto the field, I felt nothing but silence all around me, and I saw Thien streaking deep, and I knew we had a chance in this game. On a very next drive, I hit Ostrander for the 1st down, and I kept rolling upfield, throwing beautiful throw after beautiful throw. Even this one off my back foot to give us another 1st down to Ostrander, and I saw Weisbecker up the field for another touchdown. Our defense came out and stopped Lockwood, but on the next drive, I got sacked for a huge loss and another sack after that. And with 1 minute left in the game and 3rd and 32 standing between us and a 1st down, I saw Thien streaking deep down the sideline. He broke the tackle and he got into the end zone. I'd line up for my final kneel down of my high school career, and we would become state champions. We hugged, we celebrated, we screamed, we cried, and Alabama commit Thien would get MVP of the championship, but I would have a huge college decision to make.